Great. We will begin our Village of North Bennington Board of Trustees meeting for Tuesday, July 8, 2014. First item on the agenda is to review and approve the minutes of June 10.
Do we want to do the three meetings all together?
Yes, it's one meeting as a continuation, right?
Okay.
So let's just get right through it. It includes...
10, 18, and 26.
That's right. June 10, June 18, June 26. First was our standard meeting of the month. Second was a meeting regarding the fire department repair, and the third meeting was a reconciliation of the books for year ending on June 26th.
I move we accept the minutes as presented for the three meetings.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You made that very easy, David. All these papers away. Next item, review monthly warrant. First is the main warrant.
Do we want to hold on to the Foley check number 15618 for now? Or do we want to go ahead and approve that? just in
Well,
case?
I think we need to have that discussion, which I think involves another short executive probably on that.
Yeah, I would suggest that you approve it, because it's, as Laura said, it's very easy to void.
Approve it subject to,
So no matter where you go, it can be handled, but it can be voided at any time. We don't need a big,
Gotcha.
Who
Can we
wants?
change the amount if it goes lower?
Oh,
Okay, so adjustments aren't a problem, as long as we know that it's slated.
okay, that makes it easy. And then we'll be sure to, at the end of the meeting, to speak a little bit about that.
I'd just like to point out the warrant seems high for this month, but half of that, or over half of that, is for the fountain. That's
Well, yeah, and the
not
next
village
big chunk
money.
is the annual library, which is a big amount. too.
Another big
So,
one, so,
And then the $3,500 in delinquent taxes,
yep.
right.
which is just a
Just a
shift.
switchover, right.
Entertain a motion.
I move that we approve the warrant, the July warrant.
second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Payroll warrant for June.
It's nothing unusual there, just standard figures. I move that we approve the payroll warrant for June.
I second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Summer meetings, they're so great.
Yeah.
Citizen comments. Are you here to speak at this point?
For the machine as is, where is, I don't even know if it works.
This is the unit that was on the the old school one.
This is the unit that was in service when I first got here.
Right.
At some point, I believe Mike Blatt, or even before him, had bought it. Mike's been over to look at it, expressed some great interest. We talked about it. We kind of got to where, a no less than price, and he's here. He's hit it. We're talking about selling it.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
You're satisfied with that?
We haven't used it in 3 years. A 65 John Deere 350.
And you're not using it anymore, and it used to be on the, you used to use it on the Kubota from the water department?
We did.
Yeah.
It started on our sidewalk tractor that it was way, way too big for it.
Yeah.
Then we put it on the water department's Kubota, which handled it pretty good. Then we ended up putting it on our case tractor. Bill was walking, making me tell auto.
Yeah.
But he's gonna chase it in Shasberry right now, because they're using it, because they got major problems. But that tractor's way too big for it.
Yeah.
And then we got a mower that fit it, and, you know, and we've progressed up the line, so I think it's,
Yeah.
I think we should move forward with his offer, and we're starting to clean house, because we got a few things that we gotta buy.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And this doesn't create any hardship for you at all, doing things?
No, I wouldn't go back to that thing if my life depended on it. It's good for what we bought for. It's
What a
not
salesman,
designed
isn't
to do what we did.
What kind of salesman is this?
I think you should stop talking about it now. This guy might just walk out the door. I don't know. So yeah. I guess we need a motion to do that, probably.
Yeah, my feeling is, I mean, if Norm's satisfied with it, who are we to question it? So
Exactly.
Your offer again was $1,000, is that right? Okay. I make a move that we accept this gentleman's offer to sell the sickle bar mower that we're currently not using.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. It's yours.
Lady over there.
Talk to the lady over there and she'll.
Thank you. Okay, don't talk to Norm, I'll talk you out of it.
Makes me think, yeah. Okay, let's sign these quickly. Mike, you still running your shop down there on Benmont? You still running your shop down on Benmont? I need to get down there. What are your hours?
Every day, 12 to 6,
Good to know.
Monday through Friday.
Monday through
Monday through Friday. That's every day. That's every day when we every day worth working anyway. Highway report. Well, we can let them finish that up. We'll go Development Review Board. There's nothing that I know of, right?
There is one.
Well, had we already announced that Rachel, that was,
Yeah, no, we did that, but there was a meeting coming up. I can't forget what it was. Anyways, Dan was trying to set up a meeting in the next month, so.
no, I thought that last email was something more like, looks like we don't need to do this until.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're right. He did.
Kind of, he explained away a
Right.
reason to have a meeting.
Yeah.
Fire department, nothing. Other than that, we approved the process, determined it was appropriate, that it occurred, and
I haven't heard anything since then.
I think we're proceeding on with that project, I hope. Water board, nothing to my knowledge. No.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you very
Take
much.
care, good luck.
Just come find me when you want to come pick that up. Come find me when you want.
Okay. I'll probably be
Any day before.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Highway facility report, Mr. LeBlanc.
All right, we just sold the mower.
Yeah.
So that was pretty good. Basically, what we're doing right now is, again, talking about mowing, we're starting to trim some roadsides, we've done a little bit. Be out on Water Street tomorrow. Trying to do that, we cut some brush. Big focus with us, is no surprise, is the center of town, the square, the fountain. You know, the board really needs to thank the gentleman, everybody knows him by Big A. He's the guy that's helping us, and it's a fight to get him to accept any type of compensation, so we really need to do something for him. Without his efforts, we wouldn't be as far as we are. You know, we just need him. So, with that, you know what I mean, I'd like to thank him, and anybody who knows him knows exactly what I'm talking about when I say Big A. So the fountain's coming along, the pool guys have been here, they show up at the crack of noon.
They're down here till 8 o'clock most nights when they're here.
Well,
It
last
like-
night was the first night they were that late, but hey, they got their gig. We're moving along. We've had a few things that hiccups in that plan, but we're working them out with David and hopefully the rest of the committee. We've got a few things that were just oversights, so we're straightening out. Most of the curb is in, as you can see, at least 2/3. The one spot that's open is just for work, so we can keep going in and out of there without messing up a brand new curb. It's been blacktop and patched as we go. So it's getting there. I know the bricks, somebody just got me today and handed me one. I know there's gonna be a deadline soon, so if you turn them in, you know, buy a brick. If you want your name immortalized in that sidewalk, you better get on it.
Yeah, but,
That day is coming soon.
yeah, just to make it clear to people, we placed the order, the main order for the bricks, and we've got the proofs back. We approved that, so tomorrow we'll get them out to them so they can start because we got like 400 bricks right now they have to engrave. But they can turn around bricks in a week if somebody has something, as long as it's a week before we start laying them down, we still can.
Once they're in, and are
Right.
you still gonna glue them down?
Again, that's not my piece of the puzzle, so we're gonna stay out of it. It was something that wasn't my piece of the puzzle, but I'm gonna stick my nose in it pretty hard, you know. With the bricks, I will say, just knowing the transportation end of it, the logistics side of it, you know, it's gonna cost you a fortune to get one brick shipped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Well, one's probably not bad. 10 that are gonna be the real problem. So get your bricks in if you want them and get them here so they can get shipped and done. You know, a few people have been working really, really hard on it. The goal is still for the dedication day that North Bennington had, and I don't know who's getting dedicated this year. But that's the day, that's what we're trying to open.
Yep. Yeah, it'll actually be the Halls, Parks, McCulloughs, and Scotts.
Okay. there you
People
go.
have put in our water system and a
Yeah.
lot of other things.
So, you know, we're right now we're looking at maybe if we can swing it and get sod in there, just to be able to lay that top area down from the sidewalk to Pangea's. I'm almost ready to topsoil and grass seed, and we'll get the fire department to water it at night, and we'll get some grass growing there. But the upper, I think we're gonna be cutting it so close. Might be better if we can sod it.
It won't be a lot of sod once you're all said and done, right? I mean,
No, I mean,
A
well, that whole
pallet.
area's gotta get done, because it's all coming up.
Right.
But the square footage amount is not,
Right.
so, I don't know. And I don't know if he's watching, but I'm gonna bug Eric Whitman tomorrow about that, because he's buddies with the guy who owns Saratoga side. And they got the baseball team a smoking deal when they did the diamond. So,
Oh, good.
maybe we can do something. Maybe that'll help us, so.
I had a question for you too, kind of an old business, but for you. Mr. Corey came in at the last official meeting and was talking about that stop sign and cutting some of the bushes back. It
Yes.
looks like that happened, right? I
That
drove
did
by
happen,
today.
that happened,
Okay.
I wouldn't say the next day, but relatively soon. We've got our reflector that we promised to get him. Through Mr. Corey's diligent efforts, he's tracked down our old stop signs and stuff that we were supposed to get back, that the company gave away, and then they wanted me to go pick them up, and I was like, you guys screwed up, you can deliver them to me, so then we'll have an extra reflective bar to put somewhere.
Great.
We'll probably move it down to here to the intersection. As everybody knows, they saw one morning it was all black, and then the next morning it was all painted. You know, we worked all through the night and painted everything. We only did have one complaint. It's unfortunate, but, you know, you gotta work in the middle of the night to do that stuff, so.
Well, you don't have to, but I appreciate that you did.
Yeah.
You have to.
The
There's
point
no
is-
way-
no, I agree.
There's no way with traffic that we can get any type of volume done
I
like
think
that.
it's the best solution, and it's great that you're willing to do it, and it looks great. You know, it's just like boom, all of a sudden everything's done, you know?
We're coming up by your street next week.
Good.
So you'd be ready to thank me again.
All right. You're using the lights on the fire truck?
Well, we did, but the fire truck got sold.
Oh, it did?
You know, which was kind of a bummer, because now we're gonna have to go buy lights that we had. but they went with the truck. and,
Weren't we gonna see that money come back our way
uh,
if it's sold?
Should.
It's our money, right?
But it's gone. You know, they did ask if I was done with it, you know, when, the person wasn't in a big yank to get it, but you know what, if they already put up the gas, they should have their truck. 'Cause
I'll turn on my
that-
porch light for you. Then I'll do it.
We need way more than that. You can also see up by the college, they're doing a lot of stuff up there. We've actually helped them out a couple times. We pulled some big posts out of the ground, we dug a couple stumps for them. So, again, we're trying to foster that relationship up there.
It's great.
Now's the time.
You know, so there we are.
Great.
I got another highway-related issue, Norm. There's a park and ride grant program. I hate to bring up another grant, but this is 100% paid for, so there's no match.
Okay.
And I'm just wondering if we should think about making this a park and ride parking lot?
Our dirt parking lot over here, if we can get it paved, that would be.
Yeah, you get paved, lighting and signs.
What was the,
The lighting thing's an issue. I know that the neighbors are gonna be concerned about that. They brought that up to us before. But with the new LED lights.
New LED lighting,
Directional,
you can aim it any place you want to.
Well, I believe there's already, you know, this lot is lit. I wouldn't be surprised if that lot is pretty close to being illuminated enough with the streetlights. And also, speaking of streetlights, my connection in CVPS, Mr. RB,
they're gonna,
said all our LED lights are in.
yeah.
So that should be, you should start seeing that happen, and then
That's great.
I think we'll see an adjustment on the bill, right? Unless we get paid for all this.
Should be significant.
30% reduction. 7,000 less.
Yes.
Right, I wouldn't call it CVPS anymore.
Oh, well.
You know, maybe,
what was the number of spots I had to have?
You need to
many
have
spots?
10, you need 10 spaces.
Yeah, because I think, we talked about this last year.
If we can call one of them a motorcycle.
No, you know what, there were 11 cars parked there, because I remember we went through this last year.
At the
During
fireworks?
no, I think during the
Sculpture.
Art in the Park, there were 11 cars parked over there.
Okay, so we
'Cause
make
I
it,
remember counting, because I remember the meeting, so I think we're okay. Now, they might have been a little tight, and I don't know what they consider a standard, because they would. it
what
would
is
have
the
to be
standard width,
spec.
10 feet?
I've got a bug. I measured out here, I almost think it's 9. It's pretty small.
Would there be any reason that we couldn't expand it into this lot and thereby maybe get, I mean, this is all pre-trained stuff, talking about, I mean, park and ride what? I mean, as it is now. I mean, what do you, it's just a place to meet your buddy and take, and
right, and share.
right? Maybe we could get lighting in both spaces and get rid of the street light that's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah, we could do better lighting, lower.
Better lighting.
Lower aimed at.
Question on the park and ride, though, what does that mean for residential parking? If it's park and ride, they pay for it, does that mean there's no municipal parking there anymore?
Well, it is municipal parking. It's just, I don't know how I can't see any way how they can enforce it.
I don't know either, but it'd be, because I know right now there are 2 or 3 of those houses use that
Right.
as their parking.
Which is
Which
not appropriate, actually.
Yeah, the restrictions,
if it's-
are, the land has to be,
As long as they don't leave it there for over, 72 hours, right, is that
yeah,
the
but there's no
municipal
mention of
parking?
that in the restrictions.
That's our municipal park.
I think it's banked, I mean, that's what it says in bank, I know in the bank, if you can
My
park there
concern
for
about
72
that
hours.
is the house, previous owners of that house over there took their parking lot out so they could have more yard and park across the street on what is a limited number of municipal parking spaces. I mean, it's, any night, you know, this place is full. But,
But there's no mention of that. You have to own or have control of the land.
and then just designate it as that.
Right.
So that
It has to
people
be
know.
near a state highway, it has to be available for commuters year-round, has to provide for at least 10 vehicles, must be maintained by the municipality. Eligible activities may, but are not limited to gravel surfaces, paved surfaces, lighting, and/or signing.
And if we can get it paved and lit, I think.
There's no-
I'm sure that a nice friendly discussion with both those homeowners, when the grant applicant comes and says, do you park over here? Absolutely not. You know, I'm sure we, you know, to get that surface improved, and it's only gonna help
Right.
us.
Sure.
There's
No,
no
'cause we
way to
do need-
add, there's no way to add any more feet. You've maximized from the building over.
Well, we can come this way, we put a little grass strip, we could come towards the train station just a smidge,
Yeah.
no, like 5 feet, you know.
Maybe
Which should be enough to get 10
I
legal
think you can
parking
get
spaces.
10. I think we laid it out for 9, which is big.
Anyways, you know, if the board approves, I'll get together with Norm and we'll fill this out and, I mean, it's,
Run with it.
right, it's 100% paid for, so.
Yeah.
Do we need a motion for that? No, we don't, do we?
Now, well, let us put it
Once we
together.
get
Yeah, and then, because it's
Sign some
the,
forms.
we have to the end of August to apply for this.
Great. Any other highway-related discussion, questions, comments? Let's move into new business then. Let's do this first thing first, is that as we have transitioned from Gail to Mary as our treasurer, it has been requested by Merchants Bank, one of the banks of which we do business with, for us to basically sign this document resolving that she is has all these capacities and that she's the person who will be taking care of all of that. While we're waiting for the independent audit to occur, Gail will still have access online to this stuff to make sure to be able to keep an eye on it. And so we just need to sign this. Was it a we don't have to resolve anything, do we?
No, it's already been voted on by them.
We've already, but right. So we just need to sign this. And we had to do this for the school as well today. Other bit of new business is that as of July 1, there's been a change in state law regarding some public meeting issues, and one that's significant is that it has to do with the sunshine laws and stuff, and making sure that things that happen in public meetings are then disseminated appropriately to the public. And the problem is they've made this extremely stringent and difficult to comply with. And the one condition is that if a municipality or public school district or whatever has a website of their own, that website is then considered the website of record. And then you are required within a certain amount of days to post every public document, that minutes, agendas, and everything. Warrants, everything. We don't have a website. And it's interesting that you'll find that actually throughout the state, the outcome of this new law is that a lot of small municipalities like us with no significantly paid staff have gotten rid of their websites, their official websites, such that they're not subject to the really very heavy penalties that can be assessed if you don't follow it to the letter of the law. We do have a website in town that has offered and has in the past carried a lot of information that we have, documents that might be useful for people to download, mostly informational. He doesn't currently list minutes and stuff on there, and I don't know that he wants to. And so it was brought to our attention that we should declare in a public meeting that that is not an official site, that it is just a nonprofit in town willing to help us. Obviously, all of the things we do are available. The meetings are public. The documents are available upon request. ultimately, if we could get, I would like to get as much information out as we can in electronic format. I just don't want to be subject to oh, you forgot this on June 10th, 2015, you seem to be missing a such and such, and then taking fines for.
And somebody has to maintain it.
Right.
You
And
know,
we
we
just,
may say we want to do it now, but the next board, we saddle them with the responsibility.
that's right. So we just need to kind of declare, make a resolution or, that the website for which we do put some information on is not an official, municipal website.
I think you just did that.
I just did. Do you accept that?
Yeah.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Everybody in favor with that?
Aye.
Aye. Again, we're not trying to bury anything, we're just trying to save our butts from larger municipalities that have the staff to maintain these kinds of things.
Right, and that won't change what is on
Won't change
the site.
anything
The
currently.
fund is still going to post everything that's been on there, so we're not changing that relationship we have there either. So all the information that's been on there in the past will be on there. It's just, it's not their responsibility to keep up with everything.
That's right.
And it's great that they do that they make that
Oh,
assessment.
fantastic.
Yep.
So that's what I've got for new business.
I have a couple.
Okay.
First, just want to thank the tree committee for planting the new tree over at Lions Park. It's going to be a shade tree, kind of right outside the concession stand. A couple weeks ago, 2-3 weeks ago, toward the end of the school year, they planted that. And also with Parks, Pembroke's, Lori will be getting a bill from Pembroke, so that should go through Parks. It'll be for spraying the walking path around McWaters Park.
Okay.
So if you get that, he sprayed that with whatever.
Yeah, I believe I asked him to do the one, I also asked him to do the one into the concession stand and around that building to clean that up too.
Okay, so you might be getting two. So any of those will go through the park. And lastly, I met with Steve Goodrich at Quality Plumbing Kelly Fuel. And the suggestion is going to be that we continue next year doing the same budget pay. The rate is the same as he offered this year, which is actually a very nice rate for municipality. And my suggestion is that we go ahead and re-up all those contracts with them. It was 4 total contracts for the 4 buildings in the village. And if that is okay with the rest of you, then I will go back to Steve tomorrow and have all the contracts drawn up, and that usually, the budget pay usually starts in August.
Last year started in September.
That's because last year we
We
didn't,
started late. didn't
right,
we?
we didn't find out, if you remember, fire department really did a lot of the legwork for that,
That's right.
and we were lucky enough to be able to get that rate, which was after the lock-in date, so Kelly Fuel actually allowed us to get in on that program after the deadline. The deadline for this is today. And I've been talking to Steve, so he knew we were probably gonna do it. So I'll go in and have those contracts done, but I think the payments will start in August.
Great, sounds good to me.
Mark, when you do go in, would you ask Steve not to send things would you ask Steve to send them to me?
Yeah.
They were going everywhere but, so I didn't have a lot of
Yeah.
things I needed.
Sure, and
And the village post office box is 427.
And that's where you want them sent?
That'd be great.
And with the way the budget works is they guesstimate on usage. They put together a price, you pay it. At the end of the year, you either have a credit or a debt. Right now, we have a debt on 2 and a credit on 1. So I'll give you those, their rate on here. I'll make copies for you
Okay.
and drop those off. The long and short of it is we'll probably owe them a couple $100, roughly.
What was the credit on this building? I'm just curious.
This one was 350.
So really, that's all pretty close, given the total amount.
Yep. And these are good to have, I mean, they give you what you paid per delivery, number of gallons, so we can kind of watch it year to year to see how things are going, so.
Yeah.
And I'll try to keep up on kind of keeping these in the file.
Good.
those two probably by the end of the week.
Any other new? Was that new?
Yeah.
Or were we old? I can't remember where we were now.
No, I did all new.
Okay. Old business, I know one issue was that we had said in the minutes that we would discuss the zoning, ordinances. Having not done much myself in that, but you have done,
And Janice not being
And
here,
Janice
who was
not
kind of
being
the
here.
lead on that. Basically, the ones that I went through, which were Articles 11 through 20, and then Articles 22 through 26. They're all fairly standard. To me, I'm pretty sure we're probably doing everything that was in all those, because a lot of them were police enforced. So my recommendation would be to go ahead and accept all those. I just don't know what the process is, because there are some that are enforced by police, so those we could word for word adopt those and have it go through. Others are not enforced by police, they are enforced by the select board, so we would just have to change the wording in them to reflect that we would be, for any of the ones that they handle in Bennington, we would handle through North Bennington. And a few of them, they have a skateboarding ordinance, which sets a certain boundary where skateboarding is not allowed. So obviously, those are all streets in Bennington. If we wanted to do the same here, given that we have a skate park, probably a good idea to set boundaries on where we would.
absolutely.
So when we do get formalizing, we would want to kind of set the designated area where we shouldn't be skateboarding.
So when we get closer to October, which I think is when we agreed to have kind of finally get together, put this together.
Yeah, the ones I was looking at were similar to what Mark said. None of them required outside enforcement, which is, the main issue we got to deal with.
Yeah,
They all were things that would be either our zoning administrator primarily, or the DRB board, or, nothing that involved the police or any outside enforcement agency.
yeah, a lot of the ones I had dealt with kind of,
But
like we were
the
talking
number-
earlier, leaving your car too long, if they booted it, that's police enforced, and
Right.
so a lot of the ones I did were police, which we have the same. Which is one of the main reasons why we're going through, or one of the main reasons why we're going through this is to kind of get everything uniform, so the police knew what they could do when they came in certain
Exactly.
situations, so.
They don't boot cars here, do they?
What's that?
Do
I've seen them in Bennington, yeah.
Have they booted?
Yep.
I just figured you'd tow them. Right? And they can tow them as well. I guess booting is cheaper.
Yeah, because you can leave it right there. And I think typically, yeah, because what they do typically for booting is more outstanding tickets. And so the car is usable, so there's no need to tow it, because those people need that car, so they're gonna come take care of it. So
Right.
I'm sure, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a cost effective. And yeah, a lot of the other ones, they talk about municipal cemetery, we don't have one. So we could eliminate that. And, water sewer. We are already, I assume, the sewer we get through Bennington, so we would already be following that ordinance. And water, we would just eliminate that part of it,
Yeah.
whether we have to.
That would actually make Bennington really happy if there was a way that we could set it up. As it is right now, Bennington doesn't have control of the water. So if there's somebody who hasn't paid their sewer, it's a frustrating thing for them, because in Bennington, what they do is turn off their water.
Right.
But they can't do that
Right.
without going through. So who knows, maybe there's something we can tweak with that.
Yeah. So whether we have to change what they have in there, I assume we already have something through the water department, but it's not, I don't know if it's in I haven't seen our official ordinances. So yeah, the ones I did were pretty straightforward. I think they would be mostly kind of word for word going through and just changing a little bit here and there. So who would we go through to do that? Is that something that has to be legally drawn up?
I think we redline the thing first, especially with the things of changing select board to, village board of trustees.
And
And
then have somebody who knows what they're talking about?
then hand it off to Rob or somebody who can
Yep.
say,
Right.
especially as far as the boundaries, that would be probably something a little bit complicated. Than for
Any sort of,
skateboarding.
yeah. Well, for instance, the issues that we've ever had really with skateboarding was right here at the train station, where people were,
Well, and this is something I forgot about. A couple people that have, some group of individuals have built a wooden ramp on our skateboard park. And you guys have to decide whether you want me to leave it there or get rid of it. You know, it's a liability issue because.
It's not
We
standard,
didn't make it.
it's not standard equipment, yeah.
Right, and it's actually, from the looks of it, it looks pretty sturdy, you know, somebody did a good job. I won't destroy it, but I'll pick it up and bring it to the garage, and then somebody can come retrieve it and move it on their own piece of property. You know, things like that. And I didn't know if somebody had talked to Mark, and he said, okay. I mean, there's pallets there, there's one plastic pallet that we kind of like, we just leave because it's a plastic pallet and it doesn't break up. But
That might be a question for Rob, because it's a use at your own risk. So I think we are liable for anything we put up there to maintain and make sure that it is, whether anything somebody else brings in. If we, yeah, no, we may be responsible for that as well, so that might be a question for Rob. If they do, if we leave it there, are we assuming liability?
I think we are, but
Yeah.
you tell me if you want me to leave it or take it.
I would leave it right now until we find out for sure.
Okay.
Do you want me to field that one? That's right. Or
Either way,
Or
I
just
don't
the
mind.
park guy probably wants to do that.
Want or will, are two
Send-
different things.
send-
I will do that.
I'm
I'll
on
give him a call tomorrow. Is he around? I
He
know
is.
Okay,
Yeah.
I knew he was away for a bit.
it.
I'll call him
And,
tomorrow.
even an email is all you need really to do, and he'll, if that's
Shoot it
easier
right
for
back.
you.
Sure.
Yeah, REW.
I think I've got it.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, I've got it.
Any other old business?
One thing that, at the
Yes.
last meeting, we had talked about probably needing a tax anticipation note. We will need that for August. Just be aware that August 12th is the next meeting, and the loan or the documents all need to be signed at a regularly warned meeting.
Okay.
And then they need to get back to the bank, and the bank needs to have the originals before any funds are issued. And we do have a big payment that's due on the 15th, so that's gonna be really close, just.
So, do you suggest we continue this meeting?
I don't think so, because what I'm gonna do first is to see whether we can get a continuance on
Okay.
that previous,
No.
advance that we took.
Yeah.
To see if that can be pushed back 1 week.
Okay.
And then we wouldn't need to. But it is possible at this point that we will. I've started working on.
If that's the case, I think then we
come up
should,
with something.
we should continue this meeting, just in the event that that happens. If we don't meet,
It's
we just didn't meet. So, we will,
Yeah, Laura gave me some information this afternoon that I kind of needed to get the
to fi-
revenue side of the
yep,
equation done.
okay. So, I think we need a quick executive about this possible legal Spiegel thing, and then we'll come out and have a continuance of the meeting to, do you wanna set a date? Just, I think it's probably a good idea to set a date that we may or may not need.
I can tell you when I'll probably have information that I'd like to review first before I send off a bid.
Okay.
Gotta get the right month, of course. I will probably have that ready for you the 28th or 29th, that last week of
July.
July. And then we will go from there to determine what we would need, and my hope is to have that to the bank that week to give them time to do their due diligence, respond to the bid.
29th is a Tuesday, why don't we do,
You wanna do
Yep.
that? Okay. It's 2 weeks from today.
so 7 o'clock.
I'm just gonna put a hold on it though.
Yeah.
Confirm it's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah. Let me just get that in here, because otherwise it will disappear. Okay. Okay. So I think that's, if there's anything else, I'll entertain a motion to go into executive, and it will be brief.
I move that we go into executive session at this point.
And that'd be brief.
And be-